From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your evening update.
Meats and Grocery is much more than a grocery store. We carry a full line of quality meats, local and organic vegetables, and a large variety of fish, Green Mountain Smart Control pellet grills, and a full deli case of sandwiches and side dishes.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Chief Meteorologist Mike Kruger. Thank you for joining me here this evening on Weather NorCal. We're beginning to feel the impacts of the approaching storm, but it's not overhead just yet. We're going to really start to feel its impacts tonight and into tomorrow. Let's get you to Kruger's Quickcast, but before we do that, I'm just going to show you what I'm tracking here and what we're going to be covering here in the deeper dive forecast after Kruger's Quickcast. So check this out. We're talking about the potential for flooding along with mudslides and debris flows. Low snow levels will lead to more chain requirements here tonight and into tomorrow. More on that a little bit later. Also, the gusty winds are looking at gusts 40, 50, even 60 miles per hour, and that could lead to the potential for some power outages with those strong winds. So for tonight, not as cold as it was last night. We've got the cloud cover. We've got the showers out there. So that's keeping those temperatures a little bit more mild, but still on the chilly side, especially in the higher elevations. Getting out the door tomorrow morning, we're looking at those temperatures on the cool side, but again, not as cold as it was. Everyone will be wet in some shape or form, whether it's snow in the mountains or showers in the lower elevations. So we can clearly see this stream of moisture heading into Northern California. More on this impressive area of low pressure here in the deeper dive forecast and what this is. Hint, it's that bomb cyclone that you've probably been hearing about in social media. We'll talk about that in more detail in our deeper dive forecast. But all of that is the moisture that's heading our way, and that's what's going to bring us the rain. So let's take you into tonight. There you can see the main stream of moisture just kind of pushes eastward and is pretty much right on top of us by early tomorrow morning. So there's 8 o'clock, snow levels between 2,500 and 3,500 feet. We're still seeing the rain. We're still seeing snow. Will be heavy. Be prepared for chain requirements on I-5 around Mount Shasta City. Be prepared for the fact that there will be chain requirements, chain checks at Fondale exit, and maybe, if it's heavy enough, and it could be, we're talking about the potential for a closure on I-5 as well. Heavy snow to the east of that as well. Chain requirements east of I-5. It looks like, as we go on Highway 299, it may be okay, even for tonight and tomorrow morning, but just be prepared for the fact that you may see some snow up there as well, especially tonight, of course, Scott Mountain as well on Highway 3. But 10 p.m. Wednesday, we're still seeing that rain. We're seeing some breaks here, so that steady rainfall maybe kind of give us a little bit of a break here by tomorrow night, but then it kind of returns for your Thursday. Remember I was talking about those winds, gusts over 50, 60 miles per hour for the coast tonight and even into tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, we are seeing those gusty winds for the valley, eastward as well, 30, 40 mile an hour winds here and maybe higher for the valley. Through the day on Wednesday, we're still seeing those gusty winds, although they start to subside off to the west. So for tomorrow, looking at your daytime highs, cool, only reaching the upper 40s to about 50 here for the valley. 30s and some 40s in the higher elevations, and looks like those temperatures for the coast will be somewhere in the low to mid 50s. So looking at your 7-day outlook, now it looks like it's mainly dry by the time we get into next Tuesday, especially for Redding and maybe Rebla. Still maybe a lingering showers though for Tuesday, because we do have still a chance for showers on Monday for everyone, and then it kind of moves down to the south and east. So again, by the time we get to Tuesday of next week, Redding and Rebla will most likely be dry. But of course, that's a long ways out from now, so that may change here. But taking a look at the coast, inland, and out towards Trinity County, we are seeing the off and on showers here pretty much through Monday, and then we dry things out as we take into Tuesday and Wednesday. Siskiyou, Modoc, and the eastern mountains, still for the next 7 days, a chance for showers in the forecast. Wouldn't you believe it? All right, so that's the end of Kruger's Quickcast. If that's all you needed for your forecast, have a nice night, but let's go into the deeper dive. Let's really get into the forecast here as we go into the rest of the week and this weekend. Periods of heavy rain and steady rain this week. Potential for flooding, mudslides, debris flows, something we mentioned a little bit earlier, the heavy snow and lower snow levels, especially in the beginning. The colder air is trapped right now, and so that's going to allow the snow levels to start off fairly low, but then eventually as that warmer subtropical air with this atmospheric river, it's usually warmer air associated with it and warmer moisture, that'll mix out that colder air and allow those snow levels to probably rise a little bit here as the storm progresses. But gusty winds with the potential for power outages. Again, these are things I've been talking about here so far. All right, so let's talk about it. Let's talk about the elephant in the room, and that's the bomb cyclone. Hey, let's get dramatic about it, shall we? It's a gigantic bomb that's right over it. No. All right, so here's the deal. So this bomb cyclone, yes, it's a big deal. A bomb cyclone is categorized as an area of low pressure that drops pressure 24 millibars in a matter of 24 hours. Now that's significant because it's a big drop in pressure. And as we watch the pressure of an area of low pressure drop, it gets stronger. And typically you get those stronger winds associated with it. But here's the thing. See where it is? Look where we are. It's a long way from us. If this was right on top of us or just off our coast, we'd be talking about a serious storm system. But it's not. And even for the Pacific Northwest, it's actually moving up this way. So it's not even going to have a huge impact. It will have a big impact, but not what it could be if this thing was a little bit more off to the east. But of course, it's not just the bomb cyclone that we're talking about. Now, of course, we got another term to tell you about that tends to be overused and misused and over-dramatized, and that's the atmospheric river. But there it is. There's all that moisture heading right into Northern California. And what's going to happen is this. This is aimed at us. We're going to see this trough dig to the south. So we'll see more of this over the next couple of days. But that means that will still be going into Northern California. And we'll see that here when we look at some of the forecast models. But look at the flood risk here for tomorrow. I mean, it's pretty high here as we go into tomorrow. We go into Thursday, expands even more off to the east. We're getting into some of those purples with moderate to high, especially out towards southern portions of Humboldt County. So with that being said, the National Weather Service has issued a flood watch and now has included western Siskiyou County. Biggest concerns are rises in creeks and streams and rivers, and on top of that, the potential for mudslides and debris flows. And this is through Saturday morning. So we've got that potential of that rain starting pretty much now through at least the first part of the weekend, but more showers through the weekend and even possibly into early next week. So here's a look at Futurecast. 2,500 to 3,500 feet for the most part tonight and through at least the first half of the day tomorrow. Let's take a look at it, and you can see here by 11 o'clock tonight, we're beginning to see some of the heavier rainfall for the north end of the valley, not as heavy to the south, still dry off to the east, heavy rainfall for the coast. And keep in mind, during all of this, we're also seeing those gusty winds. And the snow is beginning to really pile up here. So this could create some problems here. Maybe some chamber requirements. As I mentioned, maybe road closure on I-5 at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. Heavy rainfall now has made its way down into the southern portion of the valley. Now, it looks like as we go to 5 p.m. Wednesday, look at the snow levels. 3,500 to 4,500 feet. We're going to start to see the snow levels begin to rise, and we may see less issues on I-5 near Mount Shasta City by tomorrow afternoon. Because as we go into a Wednesday night, look, we're seeing less snow on the map here, indicating snow levels continuing to rise. We're also seeing breaks in the rain here, so it won't be as steady when we're talking about this rainfall, but periods of heavy rainfall. But you see this? There's that next round of moisture coming in, still aimed at Northern California, 8 a.m. And it looks like we're starting off dry for a good portion of the valley, but to the north and west of that, we've got that heavy rainfall. Snow levels now at this point are 5,000, 6,000 feet. It then spreads southward into the valley Thursday afternoon with more of that steady rainfall coming in once again. And it looks like by Friday morning, looks like the heavier rainfall is now down to the south, scattered showers to the north and west of that, and it turns into scattered showers through Friday afternoon, less in the way of that steady rainfall. And that's it. We're done with the atmospheric river by Friday, and then through the weekend, scattered showers. Look at the rainfall totals. There was a post I had on social media on Facebook earlier today that was showing Chico at 8 inches of rain. That was probably a little overestimated here, but you can see the forecast models are doing a good job now. I think these are some pretty good numbers. I'm really happy with a lot of these numbers. I'm expecting to see upwards of about 6 to maybe even 7 inches of rain. This is just through Friday morning, folks, so we still have Friday afternoon, Saturday, and Sunday to contend with here. And we'll take a look at some of those longer range forecast models here in a second. But there's also winter weather advisories I need to tell you about. This is the advisory off to the east. Through tomorrow, we also have that winter storm warning also through tomorrow with those fairly low snow levels. I tell you what, this forecast model has been consistent for like the last 3 days of giving 30 to 40 inches of rain of snow in Mount Shasta. I don't know if I'm buying it though, folks. This is through tomorrow, 6 p.m. So basically 24 hours from now, you're going to have 30 to 40 inches of snow on the ground. We'll see. We'll see. I mean, it does look like there's some heavy snow up there. And if it just continues with that band of snow, it could certainly come up to that. But you've got to keep that band of snow coming down. And you've got to keep that snow level down to 3,000, 3,500 feet, because that's where Mount Shasta City is. If you get that snow level just a tad higher, you're not going to see anywhere near that. So again, if we can keep that snow level consistent, you could see that much snow. But if we don't, then it's going to be a lot less than that. And of course, we don't see much more on top of that through Friday because, yeah, it's all going to be in the form of rain. Now, here's the thing I'm concerned about. Here's through 6 p.m. Wednesday for the ski park, a couple of feet of snow. But then as we advance into time here, going through Thursday and into Friday, you're not seeing any more accumulation. Why? Because now it's all rain. Rain on top of the ski park. And unfortunately, that means some of the snow that we see is going to melt, but I don't think all of it will melt. But we still have a good base there. Hey, check this out. We have an avalanche warning until noon Thursday. Now, here's a reason why. We're starting off with heavy snow for the next 24 hours. And as I mentioned, on top of that fresh snow, you're going to have rain. And that can, of course, create some avalanches. So that's why it's not a good idea to be out there if you're an outdoor enthusiast. All right, so let's take a look at the road conditions as of 5:39, so close to 6 o'clock. There are the chain requirement. That looks like I-5, but that's actually the intersection of 89 and I-5, and then in between basically that area in McLeod. They're doing at the Fondale exit, 10 miles north of Reading, chain checks for big rigs, and on Highway 36. You can see the chain requirements there. So let's take a look at those latest cameras. It's dark at this point here, but you get the idea. There's the backup of the big rigs because of the chain check. Can't really see much from Pitt River or for Lakehead, but looks like we have some rain. But look at this. Out towards Snowman Summit, you're seeing snow there. There's a look at I-5 near Mount Shasta City. It's accumulating on the highway there. So, of course, that means it's accumulating on the ground, too, giving you snow in Mount Shasta. So, and even Dunsmuir, it looks like we're seeing some snow there as well. So, chain requirements, if the snow gets a lot heavier and it's expected to, you're talking about chain requirements in that area. Take a look at Buckhorn Summit. It looks like it's trying to snow there. You can't really see anything in Oregon Mountains too dark. And there's Berry Summit too dark as well. But I think we'll be okay on Highway 299. Let's take a look at the road conditions through tonight. All right, so we're going to take you into about 10 o'clock tonight. There's 299. See how, I mean, we're seeing that rain-snow mix. There may be a little bit of snow tonight for some of those higher elevations, some of those mountain passes, Buckhorn, Oregon Mountain, maybe Berry Summit. But look at I-5 right there. There's that snow out towards Mount Shasta City, and of course on Highway 89, also to the east. Now, it's showing that rain, snow mix and ice, but I'd say that's more in the way of snow as we go into Wednesday morning. So I-5, probably still some issues there. Also off to the east here as well through Wednesday. So yeah, I mean, this is going to be a problem here, not only in the morning, but even going into the afternoon hours. So let's take a look at that setup here. You can see we do have that rain really steady here for your Wednesday. You see how it's just still that flow right into Northern California on Thursday. Then by Friday, it pushes to the south. So that atmospheric river is now being pushed to the south. We're seeing less in the way of that steady rain and more in the way of scattered showers as we go into Saturday. You can see Saturday, Sunday, the next system coming in. Some decent rain coming in with Sunday's system. And then it looks like on Monday, Tuesday of next week, this model maybe wants to bring in a little bit of wet weather before we dry things out, most likely by around Tuesday afternoon and into Wednesday. All right, so here's the overall setup. This is the moisture content, and you can see right here, this is the atmospheric river. You've got all this moisture right here, and another little area of moisture too coming into Northern California. The two working together, aiming that hose right at Northern California. That's Thursday, and then by Friday, you see what happens? That stream of moisture is now shifting down to the south. And that's why we're no longer being influenced by this atmospheric river by Friday afternoon and Saturday. Now, believe it or not, if you didn't know about this, there are intensities. There's a scale of the atmospheric river impact, 1 through 5. So to give you an idea, there are two areas that we gauge that from, the coast and the foothills east of the valley. So for the coast, you can see a spike for tomorrow, still kind of within that AR2 category. Then it drops, and then it spikes up even more, quite possibly even into the AR3 category with Thursday into Friday's system. So it looks like maybe a little bit stronger as we go into Thursday and Friday for the coast. Now, you can see how it drops in intensity because typically that's what happens as you start heading further inland. You see it's less intense. However, you can see that little spike here, a little dip, then back up as we go into Thursday into Friday here. And then, of course, no more atmospheric rivers after that, as we saw that flow is no longer pointed at Northern California by Friday afternoon and Saturday. Long-range forecast models, all right, we'll see what happens here. I think we could see at the very least maybe 6, 7, maybe even 8 inches of rain once all is said and done. And that's through Monday, by the way. So that's what we're looking at here. So 7 to even upwards of 10 inches of rain in some areas. So a lot of rainfall heading our way, and that's why flooding is a concern. All right, we switch gears now. We're going to be talking about the wind. There's a high wind warning for the areas in teal here. That's through Wednesday. Gusts 50, 60, 70 miles an hour. Wind advisory tonight through Wednesday in the valley, 35 to 45 mile an hour gusts. And we're just going to walk you through here. We're basically looking at gusts here tonight, strongest, and then we're looking at gusty winds off and on through the day on Thursday, and that'll probably continue into your Friday morning as well. Look at Friday morning, 5 a.m., still very gusty winds, so we still may be looking at those windy conditions on Friday as well. Look at the wave heights here. They're going to be very high, as you can see here, 8 to even upwards of 14 feet. And then Thursday, yeah, they do start to drop here a little bit. All right, let's advance from that because that didn't get updated. But let's take a look at your forecast here for tonight. I got a little happy with my button here. Let's take you back to tonight. All right, there it is. Temperatures low to mid 40s in the valley. Temperatures 20s and 30s for the higher elevations. And there you can see, of course, for the coast, temperatures in the mid 40s. All right, now we'll take a look at your Trinity County neighborhood forecast. Temperatures upper 30s, 37 degrees for Weaverville, 47 degrees out in Ruth. We take you out to the southern Humboldt County, Rio Dell about 49, 50 degrees for Blue Lake, and Garberville a high of about 55. Up north, 51 tomorrow for Klamath, 55 degrees in Smith River. So bottom line, it's just going to be a cool day out there for tomorrow. Out towards Siskiyou County, temperatures mainly in the 40s, although up to some of the higher terrain here, we're talking temperatures in the mid to upper 30s for your daytime highs. So quite chilly there, and of course, that explains some of the snow that we're going to see out there, right? 41 degrees for Canby, 43 degrees for Alturas, and looks like Eagleville about 46 degrees. And for the eastern mountains, we're looking at temperatures around 43 for Westwood, 49 for Paradise, and 50 in Portola. And your valley neighborhood forecast brought to you by Walgamuth Painting. Your temperatures should be somewhere in the low 50s for your daytime highs, but although as you head to the north, not even quite reaching the 50-degree mark for tomorrow. 48 degrees for Reading, 44 for Whiskeytown. And you'll notice here, the showers should end for the most part by the time we get into Tuesday of next week. Looking at your 7-day forecast for Reading, windy for your Wednesday, Thursday, and probably even into Friday as well. But it turns over to scattered showers on Friday. The atmospheric river is finally out of here by then. And then it looks like scattered showers for the weekend and possibly even into Monday of next week before drying out by next Tuesday. That's your evening update. I'll be back again tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. And don't forget to join me on Coffee with Kruger at 7 a.m. when that storm is really coming through. We'll be taking a look at the snow, where the chain requirements are, and what we expect with those latest forecast models. Have a great night.
Caltrans is doing the best that they can with the amount of people and the amount of equipment they have, and they're out there trying to keep the roads safe and trying to keep everybody running, because if the roads shut down, truck drivers that are paid by the miles aren't making any money. So we want everybody to put chains on for the safety of themselves and the safety of the public. It's not worth it to drive without chains.